If you are a trader in Forex, cryptocurrencies, stocks and all other tradable assets, or if you are interested in trading these, then this video is useful for you. Because in this video I will give you some new tips on how you can profit from breakouts and especially how you can prevent losing money in a so-called fake out. So good to see that you have stayed. And the first thing I will show in this video are all kinds of breakouts you can encounter when trading. So when you do know all of these, you can skip to the next part where I will give you 2 tips for how you can avoid fake outs, which are price movements which look like breakouts but are in fact not. They fake you out. And after this I will also show you some real life examples in TradingView of these types of breakouts. So to the part of all types of breakouts. Here you can see all 4 types of breakouts. So technically there are 2 types of breakouts, a support breakout and a resistance breakout, where the first is a broken support and then more momentum downwards, and the second is a broken resistance and momentum upwards. And to be broken support and resistance levels can either be a horizontal area as seen on the right, or they can be trend lines as seen on the left here. And these trend lines can also be in different positions than what you see here, such as in wedges. So trading breakouts is one of the most difficult parts of trading, and you can never be sure that a breakout is not a fake out. But there are 2 things that can help you when trying to avoid a fake out. So the first thing is that you should only trade breakouts if they break out of a well-tested trend line or support and resistance level. So the trend line or the support and resistance level should have had a lot of touches of candlesticks. And the second one is that you should always make the support and resistance area as broad as possible to not misjudge when a breakout has really occurred or not. And that's pretty interesting, but that has to do with the fact that a lot of support and resistance, but also trend lines, are very subjective to every trader. Therefore, you should make them as broad as possible to avoid the fact that you think something is breakout while someone else just has a touch on the trend line. Now we will actually go on to TradingView, where we are now, so that I am able to show you some real life examples. I think it is one part to actually tell you the theoretical side of it. So what are breakouts and what should you keep in mind? So I would also recommend writing those things down so that you know them, you can test them for yourself, and you can remember them. But I think it's way more interesting to actually test it out at a real price. So we are in the 4-hour time frame of the Forex pair, the GBP against the Japanese yen. And I've actually found a really nice example of a well-tested resistance area in this case. As you can see here, it has been tested 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe a little bit less, a little bit more, depending on what you think a touch is. So it is very well tested. As you can see, I draw it quite broad, but not too broad. And then you can see that the price actually went through, and that is the first way you can actually use these breakouts for a good trade, or basically to make money, to be more profitable. And that is that when such a very well tested trend line has broken, so after this candle, you should enter a long trade, or you shouldn't, or yeah, you have to analyze for yourself, but that is one way to trade off it. So just when a resistance breaks, trade upwards, or when a support breaks, place a short trade. So here you would have been able to grab a decent amount of pips. of this trade, which is quite interesting. And then I also have another case. I animated this a little bit more. Also found 2 breakouts. We are again in the 4-hour time frame, in the most traded Forex pair, I believe, which is the euro against US dollar. And here you actually have an example. Here you can see a trend line has 1, let's say 2, 3, 4 touches, and then here it breaks and it goes up again at the same time. So this was actually a fake out. And what I want to show you with that is that you can never be sure. Although I couldn't see it in the history, but a lot of the times when the price moves like this, it's actually a news event. So that could have been the case here, always with fundamental elements in Forex pairs especially, but also with crypto, such as when a famous person tweets something about crypto. Technical indicators such as this trend line really do not go into play anymore, and that's also what you see here. And then it was a fake out, it went above it again, but here you can actually see that when the trend line breaks again, that there was a very nice retest. Let's see if we can zoom in a little bit. Yeah, you can see this green candle actually retests the trend line very beautifully, and that's the second way you can trade off of them. So the first way was here to when it breaks, you place a sell. That wouldn't have been very well in this case, but you can also wait until the area or the trend line retests, such as here, and that would have been a very nice trade. And you can also see here that when you stay updated with breakouts, you can also determine the trend a little bit, because here you can see it was an upwards trend line and it breaks, and from that point on the price actually goes in a downtrend. And then I also have a second case of a breakout, which is this support level basically. And with this support level you can see very well why you should you can draw these support areas very broad, as you can see here. It actually goes on for I think about 60 pips, which is a lot, but in this case it could have prevented you from from some bad things happening. Because here you can actually see it goes into it right here, and then it hits this support quite often, and then here it hits it once more somewhere in the box, and then it actually goes down. So you could have placed a sell trade right here. That's the first way of trading them, and then it would have been a nice trade, and if you would have been in it for a little bit longer, would have even be a better trade. But again, here you could have also, when it breaks, you could have traded the retest. You would have had some drawdown, but still it would have been a very good retest trade. So with that I also showed you how to draw these support resistance very broadly, and how that can help you to avoid fake outs. And that will be this video. If you have any questions about breakout trading or fake outs, which I haven't told you about, please let me know in the comments, and I will make sure to answer that question as soon as possible. And for now, I hope to have helped you with your trading, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.